So if you got your money in order, you got the right people, but your lifestyle doesn't align with what makes you happy, you will also be miserable. Why in the heck did I not like school? How to build your dream life. Lifestyle, the people that is in it, and the finances required to create this dream lifestyle. Okay, number one is people. Number two is finances. And number three is lifestyle. Make life fun, and you do this by finding great people. You'll close a massive deal and you're making all this money, and then they'll just cancel. You'll deal with customer complaints. You'll deal with people that you should have never done business with. Okay, if you have great people, if you have an ideal lifestyle, but you do not have the finances to fund it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Grant Mitt Podcast, episode number 115. In this episode, we're going to be breaking down how to build your dream life. We're going to be breaking down three key core areas, including your lifestyle, the people that is in it, and the finances required to create this dream lifestyle. Now, when I was younger, and I'm going to tell you this kind of backstory to give you an idea of the simplicity is basically story based on how I came up with this and how I actually fell into creating a dream life. And then I'm going to give you some tangible, actionable steps that you can implement so you can quickly figure out what direction you need to go in, where you need to live, all these little details, right? I was never a school person. If you listen to any other of these episodes, I probably have mentioned it a few other times. And I think the case is that one, I'm a huge learner. I'm the biggest nerd you'll ever meet. Why in the heck did I not like school? And when you kind of dive into the system of school, it's so structured. You have to be at this place at this time. You're only learning this thing. If you question anything, they're going to tell you still have to learn it. It's part of, general knowledge. You have to do this, you have to do that. And after time, it gets extremely repetitive. And because I didn't see a future outcome out of it that was so incredible, I wasn't motivated to do anything of it. And so I went into first junior college for sports for two different schools and then transferred to U of H and then ended up dropping out. But about 2.5 to 3 years in to go into university before I dropped out, I'm a happy person. So I don't want to sit here and tell you guys, I wasn't happy, but I was not fulfilled. I was uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I was a bit kind of confused what I wanted to do in life. I had a general view, but I didn't know how to get there. So I had this idea in my mind that I wanted to be this entrepreneur and do this and do this. But, saying that, which I'm sure some of you have experienced, versus actually figuring out how to do it and making it an actual reality is two different things. And didn't come from money. I didn't have any money at the time. And at the time, my life was not too great. And so the first thing I did, is when I started really learning and diving into business and finance and what makes people successful versus what makes people not successful, I started to not only learn more about the world and really great and successful people, but I started learning a lot about myself. And this is what I think is so important for you as you're listening to this, is you want to identify, what drives you, what common denominators of situations and people and specific interests excite you. Not only excite you, but make you feel comfortable and you are naturally great at. Obviously you could get better, but the second you look into something or try something, you're just naturally pretty good at it. And then look at the common denominators of all the things that just don't not only not make you excited, don't make you that happy, but just don't really drive you. And you don't have a good time around it. And when you identify life in first principles and very basic components, what happens is you can quickly decipher, okay, this is great for my life. This is not great. This works out really well. I bloom in these areas. This has a great future. This does not. And you don't have to overthink it. And so what I found is okay, I love business. Okay, that makes sense. 2, I've always been an ADD, ADHD type of person. I'm undiagnosed, but I know I have it. And I can't sit still. I remember in the back of the classroom, I'd be throwing up my pins in the air. I'd throwing up a little baseball or something, right? Playing with my phone, doing this, talking to these people. And so I noticed that when I was traveling, when I was learning something new, when I had a new challenge, when I was trying to create or build something, I was just zeroed in. All of my ADHD, lack of focus, lack of consistency disappeared. I could completely lock in and focus. When I was around people that inspired me and challenged me, it made me happy. Another thing is in certain environments where there was groups of people that really were just kind of, rule followers. They're stuck on the status quo. They had their good job, they had their situation, and they were happy with it. And that's amazing for them, but that didn't make me happy. And so each one of these things are going to be different answers for you. But I said, okay, well, what if and I kind of learned this through experience, but also through reading. What if I could just build the life that just makes me happy, to where the byproduct of my environment, the people that are around me and the things that I'm doing, yes, there's going to be a lot of challenges, of course, but if I like it enough and it feels so natural to me and my natural skill sets, then even with the problems associated with it, I'll enjoy myself. It'll be a great life. And I accidentally fell into this thing. I realized I can't sit in a cubicle and work 9 to 5 for my entire life. Even if it was my own business, I can't sit in one place. If I had an office, let's say in this city or that city, I wouldn't just be in there 5 days a week. It just wouldn't be natural for me. Okay, next thing is I got to be around people that challenge me. And if I'm not around that, I notice I'm just not happy. Okay, so I started going down the line and figuring these things out. So let's break this down for your life, and you can take notes, you can put it in your phone. But there's 3 key areas that drive your overall well-being and happiness, right? And this is a very practical first principles standpoint on how to assess your life and then also how to fix it. Okay, number 1 is people. Number 2 is finances. And number 3 is lifestyle. Okay, the first one, people, I think probably has the largest bearing on any human being's happiness. Because if you have all the money in the world, you live in the best place on earth, you have all the resources that there possibly is, but you're married to a person that makes you miserable, your friends aren't great, and the people that are around you make you miserable, you will not likely be a happy person. There's been times running my own businesses where I've had just an unbelievable team. I can't wait to talk to them. Can't wait to get to work with them. Can't wait to solve problems with them. And there's been times we've made the wrong hires and it's unfortunately just not the case. You're like, man, it's just so much energy you have to exhaust to the wrong people. And so I think what's really important when it comes to people is before you change yourself, change the environment you're in, change your approach, think through anything differently. You first got to realize what people do you want in your life in every area. I think there's probably 3 key components when it comes to people. I would say 1 is in your professional life. What type of professionals, business people, coworkers, employees, business partners do you have in your life? Because even if you're successful, remember, you're around really bad people, it's not going to be fun. So identify what type of business or professional or work people are you around? How do they handle problems? How do they handle stress? Do they bring their problems to work? What are their personality types? What are they great at? And this is also I want you to keep in mind is it doesn't need to be everything that you're great at or you like, because when they are interested in different things or have different skill sets, it'll rub off on you, make you better, and make you grow as a person. So identify 1, what business partners, coworkers, everything. Who do you want to be around? 2, what friends do you have? Okay, this is so important. One of my beliefs is that no matter where you're at in the world, if you have a great group of friends, you can have fun. Doesn't matter if you're in the worst place on earth, the best city on earth. If you're around a great group of friends, it is not only funny, but a great time. I have multiple funny group chats. And I mean, we just are dying laughing 24/7. I'm in the middle of work. They're blowing up my phone. Everyone's texting funny stuff. Everyone's like a movie character. Okay. Make life fun. And you do this by finding great people. If you don't have a big friend group now, or you don't have a core group of friends that you really like, my recommendation is starting and investing in yourself, become the right person. And all it takes is 1 to 2 people. Hey guys, if you're an entrepreneur, business person, or you just want to grow as an individual, I just started a private business community that has over 200 different entrepreneurs from a multitude of different industries. We have weekly live calls with Q&As. We have over 20 different masterclasses that break down sales, marketing, finance, operations, branding, social media, you name it, as well as guest speakers and the ability to network and grow your career. If you want to have a massive year, this is every single little thing that I've learned over building an 8-figure business, building a massive following on social media, and working with entrepreneurs all over the world. If you guys would like to join, I want to give it to you for free for 7 days just for listening to this podcast. Click the link below and get set up. Look forward to seeing you guys there. You meet 1 to 2 really good friends that are social, that are successful, that are positive, that are fun to be around. You will meet so many people through them and because of them just being together. You'll go out, grab dinner, connect with people one by one. You'll start meeting more like-minded people. It's like when I moved to Austin, and I was originally from Houston, I'd lived on the West Coast, East Coast. I'd known a decent amount of people in Austin, but the bulk of the people I knew were in where I played sports for college and then back in Houston. Now, 3-4 years later, I know so many different people in Austin, and it was just by one by one, you meet more and more people, and then you kind of build this really big community. Okay. And then third is your relationships. That's like who you date, who you marry. And I think it's extremely important to have clear intentions and identify what type of person you want to be with. No one can affect you more positively or negatively than who you're dating, in a relationship with, and most importantly, who you end up marrying. Now, Tony Robbins tells a story. He got divorced, unfortunately, and he was dating all these different women, and then he had this whole long, like, page and a half or 2-page of notes for the details of the exact woman he wanted, what her personality was, what her interest was, what she looked like, what she liked to do. It was so detailed, almost it would be like too detailed. And he had met this girl named Sage, and he was randomly on a train or a plane or something. He was somewhere international, and he saw the notes while he was looking through everything. He was preparing for a seminar or meeting or something. And he said, oh my God, she's the exact girl I wanted. And he ended up marrying her. They're a super happy married couple. So you got to know what you want, because your brain is incredible at filtering things that you taught it to focus on. And that's why when you have a great week, like you close this massive deal and you have this, super lucky moment, and you have a great week with your friends and something good happens to your family. It's like everywhere you go, people are so kind to you. It's like everywhere you go, you see more opportunities and you see more great examples of positivity. And that's because you've programmed your brain that week to see all the positive things, because all these great things are happening. Your brain's like, what's going to happen next? And it's called the reticular activating system. And that's why if you go to, let's say you go get breakfast or you go get coffee, and the person checking you out is a little rude or a little brash, and you're driving and people are honking or they cut you off, and there's a couple weird, circumstances. The first thing I'd recommend is look within and go, how am I feeling right now? Am I a little rushed? Am I a little irritated about something that happened at work? How am I feeling right now? Because like attracts like, and that energy that you have is bleeding into your reality and causing it to affect the way other people treat and react to you as well. And so usually when I have that experience, what I recommend is just take a deep breath, relax, and sit there and just for like 30 seconds, think about some things that you're grateful for. That your mom's alive, that you have a job, that you have a business, that you're healthy. Think through all of these positive things and change your perspective. I was on, one of my best friends got married, and he had a bachelor party, and we're in Austin, and one of my friends got like kind of irritated about something the night before, and you could tell like he just had bad vibes. And my friend CJ, who was getting married, his brother Garrett is a very spiritual person. He's like a 10 times more spiritual version than me. He's funny, but he was like saying, like, you could kind of see that the vibes were off, and I jokingly just like turned to my friend and said, hey, what's like 3 things good that happened to you this week? And I wasn't doing it to be this like, spiritual person. I was just like joking around, and he answered it. And it was weird because of the rest of the day, it was like amazing vibes. No one was stressed about anything. He felt better. Everyone felt better. It's like nothing happened. And so sometimes you just have to kind of reshape your perception. Okay. Next is your finances. Okay. If you have great people, if you have an ideal lifestyle, but you do not have the finances to fund it, or even if you do, you're barely scraping by, I don't care who you are, what you think, and money don't buy happiness, you will be more stressed. It's that simple. Having a lack of capital hurts your decision-making skills, it increases your cortisol levels and stress levels, and it causes you to lose creativity, right? And it's important to have that in order so you can have the life that you want. Okay. So here's a simple way to do this. And I did this with my brother recently, and it worked like a charm. I kind of came up with it on the fly. Pull up OpenAI or ChatGPT or one of these AI online tools. And if you don't have one, get it. It's $10. There might be a free version. Okay. What I want you to do is enter into ChatGPT or any of these other open or AI tools. And I want you to put in the exact lifestyle that you want. The home that you want to live in, how much it costs, if you bought it cash, if it's a mortgage, whatever it is, the cars that you have, how much you travel, how often you eat out. Do you have a wife? Do you have kids? Do you have any expenses for them? Like every single thing I want you to break down in detail. And what ChatGPT is going to do and AI is going to respond is it's going to break down the exact expenses that you have each month. And when I did it for myself, I put in, I want to invest at least X% into investments, into assets every month. I want to have X% into cash reserves. And so you can say, hey, I want this exact life, but I want to put 25% of my income into assets. I want to put 5% into cash reserves, or whatever the case may be. I want to put 10% of my money and donate it to charity. And what it'll do is it'll build an exact budget of how much you need to make, how much you're going to likely pay in taxes, and where the money is going to be allocated. Because remember, if the right lifestyle and the right people, which we'll get to more detailed lifestyle in a second, but if these two things, the byproduct of those experiences creates happiness and fulfillment, then we need to build this out in detail because, I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but if these specific areas make you genuinely happy a person and you build your life around it, I probably bet you're going to be a lot happier. If not, there's some internal things we got to fix. So it's going to break down all of these things in detail. Now, as soon as you know your numbers, and this is when I work with tons of different entrepreneurs, and I have a private community of close to 300 people right now. I work with about 20-ish entrepreneurs one-on-one that have companies, and then I run my own businesses. And one of the first areas when I'm looking to scale and fix a business is I say, what are your numbers? And a lot of times people just don't know them. Or if they do, they're not looking at them closely enough, because if you know your numbers, you can reverse engineer your business. Or even if you're an employee and you're going to workplaces, you will quickly find out what industries, what jobs, what type of positions you need to be in to succeed at that. Because your strength, guys, is your skill sets. But sometimes also your weakness is your skill sets, because if you're talented, you'll actually do really good in any business that you're in or any job that you're in. And that's great. But the problem is you may go waste 3 to 5 years of your life in the wrong position, the wrong industry. And many times people will beat us, become more successful, live a better life, literally because they were just in a faster and more efficient car than you are. And if you have a Prius and they have a Ferrari and you're a better driver than they are, it doesn't matter. You're going to get smoked. Unless they wreck within the first 100 yards, they're going to beat you. And so finances is very similar to that. So let's say that target is 350,000 or 1.2 million or 127,000. Then simply ask ChatGPT and say, okay, these are my current skill sets. This is what I do now. How would I scale my income from 128,000 to 375,000. If it's a business, it'll start giving you ideas. Okay. If it's a job, it'll give you a bunch of different ideas. And what you can start doing is identifying it. Like, for example, my brother's in operations and project management. And what we identified as the current industry that he works in, while he can do decent, it's going to be really hard for him to make big money. So the first question I asked him is, well, who makes the most money in project management, and what type of massive projects right now are being funded with billions and billions, if not over $1 trillion a year? And we started looking, and I said, well, what about data centers? You know, they're building it for AI. We're like, huh? We started looking, doing research. And I'm like, okay, there might be a lot of money there. So you got to know where's the money, in what position, sector, and business, with the byproduct of you executing, can create that income so you can, actually live the life that you want. And you got to dive into this in detail. Let's say ChatGPT gives you 10 of them. You say, well, no, it needs to be remote. I want to be able to work a hybrid. Or I need to be able to, yes, have a good salary, but I also need to get performance or rev share or profit share. Or I want to start my own business, but I only have XYZ dollars to start. I need to raise this much. How can I find a business partner? How can I find investors? Okay, so like each problem you're just going to solve one by one to help you give the answer, or get the answer that you need to solve this problem. Okay. Next is lifestyle, right? This is the final one. So if you got your money in order, you got the right people, but your lifestyle doesn't align with what makes you happy, you will also be miserable. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have an incredible friend group. You marry an incredible, man or woman. You are successful in your finances. You make great money, but you're a person that loves, tons of new projects, likes to be able to try new things, is around and being challenged 24/7, is, running your own business, is solving problems. But you have a job where you make $300,000-400 grand, but you're in a cubicle, you're doing it every single week, you don't like your boss, you don't like the people that you're around, and you don't like the industry that you're in. It's full of constant problems, which problems part of business, but it's just overbearing. That energy is going to bleed into your relationships, your friendships, and your happiness. So even though you live in a great neighborhood, you got a great friend group, you got everything that you need, you will be living only, let's say, 50 to 60% happy, and the rest will be negative, and so much negativity will roll over into all those other areas, therefore depleting the fulfillment and happiness for you and everybody else involved. So you have to know, like kind of I broke down at the beginning of my story when I figured this out when I was in college for a little bit, is what type of lifestyle would make you happy? Okay, what would your day-to-day? Are you working in an office every day? Are you hybrid? Are you fully remote? What challenges and problems are you solving? What scrutiny and problems are you dealing with? The thing that I wrote down here that is so important is no matter what you do, when I'm breaking down and you guys are figuring out this goal, nothing that you choose will not have problems. I'm telling you right now, nothing that you choose. And I'd say this all the time to business owners, because I remember at the beginning, I was like, man, is it only us that has these problems? And then I have friends that work at Apple and Amazon, and they have 100 million times more problems, and they're bigger, a lot of money involved, a lot of people involved. And so you have to choose when you're asking yourself this question, you're trying to build it, ask yourself this question: what problems will I deal with? Simple question. If you're in politics, you got some pretty tough problems, right? You're going to be scrutinized by the media. You're going to have people make up lies about you. You're going to be, hero to zero very quickly. Your freedom and people bothering you is going to be pretty difficult. Okay. And if you're an accountant or you're a CFO, what are you going to deal with? Let's say you have a bunch of small business clients. You might have them calling you last minute to try to fix a payroll issue or fix a tax issue. You got to think through all these things. If it's sales, I tell this all to any of my salespeople. You'll close a massive deal and you're making all this money, and then they'll just cancel. You'll deal with customer complaints. You'll deal with people that you should have never done business with. Okay. You'll deal with the best months you've ever had, and you're like on 10. And then all of a sudden you'll go through slumps where you're stressed, and you come home and everyone's like, oh, you want to do this? You want to do this? And you're stressing about, are you going to close this deal? If you're managing people, you're an executive, you're going to deal with people quitting. I've had this so many times. As if you're a business owner, you've had this. You hired this great person. 2 weeks in, you're training them every day. You're working with them. You're pumped to have them. They just freaking quit. They take another job because they get paid more. So no matter what you do, you're going to face problems. So you got to ask yourself these two questions. One, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth going after and dealing with the problems that you're going to deal with? And two, are the problems worth it, and can you handle them? It's a really important question to ask. If you're a doctor, you're going to see people die. If you're a nurse, you're going to see people get sick. You're going to build a relationship with, and they're going to pass away. Can you handle those problems? And so no one wants to talk about that. And I think where people get wrong and they start making money and they get this dream job and they're like, man, I'm not happy, and they're pouting. I think it's because two things. One, they're not fulfilled themselves. But two is they only looked at all the great things that they think are going to come with that position or with that role or that dream. They never assess the negative things that's going to come with it. Imagine being an NFL quarterback or a, super famous, super successful footballer in Europe. It's amazing, but when you can't even go on a date without them taking pictures, that would suck. When you can't even take a walk in the park without people bothering you, that would suck. It would be great. You're making all this money. Everyone looks up to you and it's fun. You're playing the sport you grew up loving. But think about that. Can you handle those things? So that's my point, is you got to know the downsides and you got to know what position. So when we go back to the finances and the people, those things have to be in cohesion. They have to be almost married, and they need to flow perfectly with those other things. Does that make sense? So where you live, who you're around, the things that you do, the money that you're making or your business is making has to align, and that industry has to align with the type of lifestyle. If you want to be able to just on a whim, jump on a flight and just go wherever you want, but you're still running your business, what you're doing is going to change drastically. Even if you might be really good at this one thing, it may not align because your lifestyle doesn't match. Okay. So take advantage of that, guys. Break down in detail. As always, you guys can find me on all my social media channels. And like I said earlier, I mentioned I started a private business community. We're doing weekly live calls every Thursday at 5. They're live recorded. We have over almost 20 business masterclasses that are over an hour long. Network 6, 7, 8 figure entrepreneurs. If you guys are interested, I'm giving you guys a free 7-day trial. The link is below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a massive, massive week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you, guys.